Syria, and world powers have spoken out today, solidifying their response to the chemical attack in Douma. The U.S. has been in talks with its allies, but the timeline is unclear at the moment, with Trump tweeting today, "Never said when an attack on Syria would take place. Could be very soon or not so soon at all."
This in stark contrast to comments made following a cabinet meeting on Tuesday. Let's take a listen.
We are studying that situation extremely closely. We are meeting with our military and everybody else, and we'll be making some major decisions over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Well, the Syrian presidency responded on Twitter today, saying with every victory achieved in the field, the voices of some Western countries rise and the moves intensify in an attempt to change the course of events. These voices and any possible moves will only contribute to further destabilization in the region, which threatens international peace and security.
French President Emmanuel Macron says there's proof of who was behind the attack, while German Chancellor Angela Merkel is refusing to participate militarily.
We have proof that last week, now nearly 10 days ago, the chemical weapons were used, at least chlorine, and that they were used by Bashar al-Assad's regime. We will have decisions to make. In due time, we will judge what is most useful and most efficient.
I just want to make clear that no decision has been made yet, but Germany will not take part in any military action, but we will show our support in showing that everything must be done to make clear that the use of chemical weapons is not acceptable. To just do nothing is difficult sometimes, and that is why there are diplomatic initiatives and other measures have not been agreed yet, but we are in an agreement on the basic situation.
Our Middle East correspondent, our senior Middle East correspondent, Mohammed Al-Kassim, joins us from our studios in Tel Aviv. And Mohammed, of course, these ongoing threats, one could call them, by the U.S. and its allies to attack in Syria have caused some responses and reactions here in the Middle East. One by one power who's also involved in the conflict in Syria, and that's Turkey.
That's correct. The Middle East has been split over the civil war in Syria, but it's still also split and divided over the military action threats by President Trump. The Iranians are standing behind behind Syria, and they have said that any attack on Syria is an attack on them. Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries such as Qatar and the United Arab Emirates are in support of a military action. However, Turkey, a NATO member and a close ally to the U.S., as well as of late it's been getting closer to Russia, has been on the fence. Last night, President Erdogan had a phone conversation with President Trump. Let's take a listen to what he said.
We are extremely worried that some countries confident of their military power are turning Syria into a scene for arm wrestling. Last night, I spoke with Mr. Trump. Today, I'm going to talk to Mr. Putin, and together we'll talk on how to stop this chemical massacre.
And joining us from Paris is our senior diplomatic correspondent, Christian Malard. Christian, Emmanuel Macron had previously called for a strong response to last weekend's attack on the Syrian town of Douma. And now that France says it has proof, can we understand Macron's remarks as a commitment to join the US in a potential attack in Syria?
Yes, I can say so. I think Macron is on the same wavelengths as Donald Trump's and Theresa May's. But now what you alluded to previously when you started the news, the decision of Angela Merkel not to participate to any military operation, I think it's a breach in the Franco-German axis, and it's probably good news for Vladimir Putin. We must be happy to see that the French and Germans are not on the same wavelengths, even if Macron, as I said, is on the same wavelengths to participate with Donald Trump and Theresa May on our military operation. But let's put it this way. Macron reiterated that it must be a targeted military operation on probably chemical warfare warehouses inside Syria, but no way to have any provocation with Russia on the one hand and Iran on the other hand. But at the same time, Macron was not very clear about the timeline. I think it's very confusing because he speaks the same language at the White House, saying everything is on the table and we will act in due time. So it's not really clear for us to see when this military operation might take place or not.
Christian, it's important, of course, to note that the French president does not need parliamentary permission to launch a military operation there, and France is already involved in the Middle East together with the U.S. It seems Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, might not need that permission from the Parliament after all. But despite this seeming coordination between these two powers, how are the French people reacting? Are they also in support of France involving itself again militarily in a foreign country?
I think a majority of French public opinion is for the decision taken by Macron to move forward militarily. Say, first, they know we have to finish the job concerning ISIS, which is not over yet. Second things, they don't like Bashar al-Assad, and they are very unhappy about the way he is handling the situation using chemical arms, and definitely they are against Bashar al-Assad. Now, at the same time, they don't understand why Macron keeps wanting to be a kind of go-between, a mediator between Iran, Saudi Arabia, and United States. They don't understand, and Macron being between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which vow hatred to each other. They don't understand Macron's policy on this specific point. But at the same time, globally, the French have more sympathy towards Israel, which they consider as probably, and they are right on that, to be the most courageous country concerning the situation in the area, and probably trying to face the biggest danger.
And Mohammed, we're hearing a lot about the world leaders involved in this, but what's the actual situation on the ground at the moment in Syria, and what can we expect to happen over the next few days?
Well, today the Syrian military took full control of eastern Ghouta. That's the suburb just outside the capital, Damascus, where the alleged chemical attack took place a week ago or 10 days ago. And according to the Syrian UN ambassador, a delegation from the OPCW will be visiting Damascus on Saturday. They will be conducting their investigation for the next few days, and because of that, many are saying that there is no imminent military attack while this group is conducting its investigation, at least around Damascus. And that's why, based also on some of the rhetoric coming from either Germany or even Italy, both of officials from both countries came out today saying that they won't take part in any military attack on Syria. So people are maybe, saying that maybe a military attack isn't going to take place anytime soon, not while the OPCW doing its investigation, and not the entire international community are on board with President Trump and the UK and France.
Well, that's certainly some good news.
It is.